I had mentioned something in passing in audio called Fun Trying about identification or identities as being at a root of various problems. As far as money goes, or politics goes, inequality goes, a person's identity, that with which one identifies, might not solve a lot of problems. But in terms of the psyche, the psychology or spirit, my identity, that with which I identify, hang on a second. Okay, I'll see if I can recapture my train of thought, something about identities and identification. I was thinking how if I identify with myself as being a man, then I'm in a way, a sexist frame of mind. If I think of myself as being a North American, then I have this paradigm going for me of being a North American. If I think of myself as being a citizen of the United States, and all of a sudden what Washington is doing, I'm identifying with that, a lot of times that messes up my head. If I identify myself with being of a particular group of people, a mass of people, if they came from, my grandparents came from Europe, and so if I identify with being of the European or Anglo-Saxon, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant culture, even though I'm not necessarily that, but I am of that culture, if and when I identify with that, that leads to a whole bunch of psychological conditions and possibly responses. So there's a lot going on that I see with forms of identity and identification. And this kind of grows out of these words, grow out of thinking about inequality and social inequality. If a person thinks of himself or herself, oneself, as being a member of this or that class or group, then this idea of inequality arises. If a person identifies with being an earthling or a form of life, and their consciousness changes, it expands to encompass all of life, that I am a form of life, I am part of this process of life as it unfolds and involves and evolves itself out of itself, then I am life itself. If I take it a step further to the inorganic realm, to the realm of existence or being, if I reify those states, say that, I am a form of being with a capital B, being as a human being, and that is what I am. I am all of being, or I am the universe as it instantiates itself as this individual known to me as me. That might be a form of universal consciousness or cosmic consciousness. In a way, that equals the playing field, that everybody is equal. It might not be called social, so if we're talking social justice or social inequality on that level, well, that's another level. And so the identification of people and things at that level sort of creates or evokes its own problems, and it can be problematic. And that's what I wanted to say.